after you said that you were opening it and then you did it.
Why do you sound like you're kind of far away?
Because I'm kind of far away.
Oh.
Um,
Is that Coke next to you?
what?
I thought they were like little plastic baggies that were next to you.
That's
Oh,
her armor piece.
I got a lot of inspiration from yesterday's episode of the
Of course.
drug
The
cartel.
drug dealing vampires.
So I had to include myself, you know?
Yeah.
Jeez, I'm losing my voice.
It sounds like you're getting sick.
Mm-hmm.
No,
she was just crying.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Poor Danny.
Same effects.
Wait, Danny's always crying. What am I talking about?
I had the full force anxiety attack in the shower because I was like, I'm gonna take a shower. That was swearing, and then just fucking started bawling my eyes out as I listened to Dungeons and Daddies. And
well, I sent you that $50, so hopefully that can help you.
Yeah, that should a lot actually.
Yeah.
I had a friend of mine text me, and she sent me how much money she had in her bank account, and it was $57.
Oh, that's
nice.
rough.
Yeah, and I'm like, good God. Like, she lives in Kansas now. She has a kid, but she had to move, and so she can't see her kid now. I don't know how their whole custody thing works. I think the dad has primary custody.
That says a lot about a mother if the guy has primary.
She's a little crazy. I dated her at one point, so
so that's why she's crazy. Okay, that makes sense.
I mean,
it's all coming together.
Yeah.
See,
what did you do to this poor girl to make her crazy, Justin?
She was like that already. I was being warned not to do anything with her before, and then I still did.
No, I think you've told me about this chick.
Yeah, he's told us about her.
Nice boobs, though.
What I was gonna say is...
You're gay?
No.
Oh.
What I was gonna say is how we're gonna meet each other for the first time this week, and it's going to be like one of those like things where there's two things that you shouldn't put it in the same room together or the world's gonna explode. And then you started to make the comment of like alternate realities because of that.
Yeah.
And I was seeing each other. I'm like, wait a second, that's just like this movie when they saw
just like this movie.
Yeah, and they saw their dead bodies on the ground. It's like,
yeah, talking about alternate realities, alternate dimensions, that kind of shit.
Should we start?
Yeah, welcome to Apartment Theater, guys. We're talking about in the Tall Grass, which was by Stephen King and what was his name? Joe Hill. Thanks.
Yeah.
The on Netflix
father-son duo for this. It's based off of one of their novellas, and from what I've learned from reading now 3 Stephen King books, is that man, the books are always better, but
always.
Holy shit, does the man need to like condense what he says?
Yeah.
But I will say that from the books I've read, because the books I've completed were Pet Sematary, The Shining, and 11/22/63. With all the stuff that he's saying, it feels like you get a real good sense of being in the actual place itself.
Yeah.
And so every time I was reading those books, I felt like I was really in the spots that he was telling me about. Yeah. Which, that's good for a fucking writer, obviously.
Yeah.
Like, you want to feel like... But
yeah, he paints you into his novels, basically. Like,
it's not like Tolkien where he's just describing the trees for 30 pages. I mean, different era.
There's nothing wrong with describing trees. Don't even start on Lord of the Rings with me. Okay?
Danny, have you read the books?
Not for a while. I read them. Actually, fun fact, you wouldn't expect this because of the age I was, but 5th grade, they were like the very first books that like I chose to read, like not like one of the you need to read this for classes kind of thing. I saw it on the bookshelf and I'm like, this looks cool. So then I just started reading all of them, and then I went to the library to get all of the Lord of the Rings, and then I got The Hobbit, and I was like, yeah, fucking Bilbo Baggins, bitch. And
did you read any of the side books?
I have not read the side books.
I heard that they're pretty dry content, so that's why I was.
All right. It's fine.
But yeah, so Stephen King, I enjoy his books. There are people that think he's a hack. He has written so many things.
He's written a lot of books.
And I will say that I don't find him scary, but I do find his stories interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And like the situations sure can be scary, but
I think for like when it comes to like horror, he is definitely like the name you think of. Like if you were to see nowadays horror Jesus.
She's really got to chew on that one.
Horror like books, you will immediately think Stephen King.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't really like think of anybody else.
Everybody knows who he is.
There is an epic rap battle epic rap battles of history with Stephen King versus Edgar Allan Poe, and it's one of my favorite raps. So everyone should go listen to that because there's some good lines in there.
I'd say that for another horror writer besides Stephen King that I feel like people would come up with is besides like Lovecraft, maybe like Clive Barker, who did Hellraiser, among other things too, because he's got a lot of books. And there's a video game. It was terrible.
Anne Rice.
What?
Anne Rice?
Oh, Anne Rice. I thought you said and Rice, like he made rice. I was like, is there Clive Barker Rice? How did I not?
There's Clive Barker Rice.
I mean, if Francis Ford Coppola can have his own wine, I mean, like, shit, I wouldn't put it past him. I was like, okay, I guess he makes rice too. I don't know.
Anyway, our podcast is now about books and not movies.
You know, I was thinking that we could do like a every once in a while book club thing where we read a book that's not super long, you know, like max 200 pages, but we talk about
like a novella, like this movie's based off of.
Yeah. Like that.
I'm here for it. I like the idea.
You know, speaking of this movie, we should talk about it.
We should talk about it. Yeah. So, now that we're 10 minutes into the podcast.
I actually expected to hate this movie because whenever I see any kind of like Stephen King movie or like based off Stephen King books, it's horrible. This wasn't horrible. This kept my interest.
There's a
Stephen
King.
There's a lot of questions that I had at the end where me and John were like, wait, this doesn't make sense.
Stephen King's not known for sticking the landing.
Yeah, so
he needs another person. Well, and then with Joe Hill, which is his son, I mean, I've read one of Joe Hill's books. It was Horns, and I felt like it was a pretty good book. But
I love that. Yeah, maybe I'm biased, but I just want to like say this is going back to the and rice comment. So I'm watching this movie with John. We know John has an accent, so he was making a joke. By the way, our one main character is pregnant. So when she dies, I didn't hear him. They were talking about how Travis wanted like her to have an abortion or whatever, and then it was a scene where she died, and he said a double abortion because she died and then the baby died, and I thought he said a Dublin abortion, and I'm like, what the fuck is a Dublin abortion?
Special kind. Special kind of abortion.
So that's just
I just realized something. You're gonna have to edit the side of the video out because I didn't full screen the I didn't full screen it. I was like, why am I not seeing it as big as usual? I'm losing my mind. That's why.
It's okay.
Well, I'm used to having to edit everything, but not for once, Cass decided to record today too, so Cass has it.
About that.
Oh God.
Disc recording too. I ran out of disk space, so I just stopped recording.
But I have that part. I'll just stitch it together. It wouldn't be the first time I had to stitch.
I'm trying to figure out where to set it so it actually saves where it's supposed to, because apparently it's not set to that.
I think we lost our minds.
I think we have.
Speaking of like stitching together, this just made me think of it, how you guys always have me stitch stuff together. And we were talking about yesterday with our Robo Vampire movie and how the audio doesn't line up at all. And I had to remember this one episode, I forget what episode it was, I had to splice in a separate audio from you, Justin, so we could hear you, because for some reason you weren't on it. So I had to splice you in into every single conversation because you heard me and Cass perfectly.
But not Justin.
That's
okay. We're recording now again on my end. So great time.
So this movie,
this was Cass's pick, so
it was my pick.
So she gets to tell us what this movie was about.
So we have 5 main people. Yes, we have five. Well, no, 6. Yeah, I forgot about Travis.
6.5 if you count the dog.
Yeah, the doggo.
Yeah. Who's in it for like all of 2 minutes.
I love the doggo. He was.
So we have our main couple, Cal. They're not a couple. They're brother and sister, actually.
Oh, I think he wants to be a couple.
Yeah.
Woo! Yeah, there's some weird incest like vibes happening there. So we have Cal and Becky, right? Yeah, Becky. Yeah. And then Becky's ex-boyfriend lover Travis.
That's the father of the baby.
That's the father of her baby. She's 6 months pregnant. And we have Tobin, who is a small child. I'm assuming he's like somewhere between age 7 to 10, something like that.
He looked like Elijah Wood.
He got on my nerves a lot.
He definitely looked like Elijah Wood as a kid. Like,
yeah. And then we have Natalie, who's not in it a whole lot. We have like 5 minutes with her, and Ross.
Yeah, from Friends.
Ross from Friends, yes, is there.
Ross is a dick.
And Freddie the dog.
He definitely did teach people to pivot in that movie. So.
Yeah. So our opening scene is with Becky and Cal. Driving down the road. They're talking about going to California, San Diego. And she gets sick and they have to pull over, and they happen to pull over in front of this giant field of mysterious grass. I couldn't even tell you what kind of grass it is. It looks like slightly it looks like young bamboo to me.
Yeah, I would say bamboo.
But I don't know.
Looks like grass to me.
Or like some variant of bamboo. I don't know. But there's a church across the street, an abandoned church, and there's a bunch of very clearly old cars that have been sitting there for a while in the parking lot. And pull over. They hear a kid in the grass calling out for help because he's lost and he's been stuck in there. And so, of course, we make all of the intelligent decisions and go into the grass to look for this little boy instead of like calling him to us, which I think at one point one of them was like, why can't you just come to us? Like, just come to our voice. And he was like, I can't, like, I don't know where I'm going. Everything's wrong or something. I don't know. But anyway, throughout the movie, we discover there's a fucking rock. We love rocks here.
It was a rock.
It's not just a boulder.
It's
a rock.
It's a rock. It's a very special rock. Okay.
The pioneers used to ride it for miles.
I think so.
Had some interesting drawings.
We discovered that we cross timelines a lot. That a line that's repeated a lot is dead things don't move in the grass. So
dead things don't move ever because they're dead.
Dead things don't move ever.
Yeah.
The grass isn't interested in dead things. And it appears to be somewhat sentient. I theorized that it was a giant sentient carnivorous plant that could like mimic voices and like fuck with you that way. No, there's just a bunch of like time hopping shit, which is fine. And resurrecting people somehow. No, it's more like time hopping.
Wasn't your last movie time hopping?
Also time hopping. Yeah, I'm like I didn't on purpose pick 2 movies back to back that were time hoppy movies, but I do like weird time hopping stuff.
So
but anyway, Ross goes fucking crazy because he touched the rock that has a bunch of carvings and stuff all over it. You don't touch the rock.
This is my thing. Like, they do specify at one point you don't touch the rock because then you won't leave. When we first meet Toby,
he's touched the rock. Yeah,
he's touched the rock. Now, I just want to like, I'll get to this. So, Becky, that was her name, right? Becky.
Yeah,
Becky
the main chick.
And Cal. I hate Cal, but Becky.
I hate Cal too.
Go into the bamboo bullshit or whatever. They get lost. I really like the scene where they jump to see each other and they're next to each other and do it again. I thought that was a very good scene.
Yeah.
But I don't even know what happens. A lot of shit happens. Cal starts freaking out and runs, and it's like having like a panic attack. He falls, and then he finds the dog dead.
Yeah.
And then like Ross finds Becky. This is before we find out Ross is a sociopath. A cattail.
Cattail, yeah.
We get Travis, who comes in later in the movie. And that's when we find out, because they're like freaking out, like, why are you here? And like all this stuff, because they're thinking it's only been like maybe a day. And that's when you find out it's been 2 months. But before,
that they've been missing. Yeah.
Before he found them, because he found them and told them that he found Toby. And then Toby was just like, well, I guess if you want to see Becky, I'll bring you to Becky, and then brings him to Becky's very dried up dead body. Then
Delicious.
Becky's alive.
New timeline, Becky.
Yeah, new timeline, Becky. There was me and John started having a lot of interesting theories, because we were thinking maybe the baby died and that Becky's able to move through the grass without issues because she's carrying something dead. Nothing fucked up happens to the dead in the grass.
Oh.
So she's moving around and she can get around because of like So John went like that, and I'm like, honestly, that's not a half bad idea. Spoiler alert: the baby's not dead, and I think
no, it's
like
not.
It's dead either. No, because like for some reason the grass wants it. Like whatever this entity is wants the baby. Like we get multiple scenes of her like having weird, bad early labor contractions, and remember she's only 6 months pregnant, so this is a premature baby.
She also eats herself at one point.
Oh no, that's the baby she eats.
Oh, that's what it was.
He feeds her the baby.
I couldn't really tell because it was kind of bright in the room, and I couldn't see.
I just don't know why she would just like keep chewing on like whatever is getting put in her mouth. But
hey, when you're hungry, you're hungry.
Yeah, when you're hungry, you're hungry. It don't matter.
When Travis finds
at least
Cal
the implication to
Becky,
me was that it was the baby.
Yeah, I think well, no, he said it's you. So
well, it wasn't Cal who said that, it was Ross, because she has like a flash of it's you.
Oh, I don't know. I
don't
do
know.
like the scene where Ross kills Cal. Like you zoom out and see how many times he killed Cal. And I'm like, this is all deserved because fuck this guy. I hated Cal.
It's like super crazy Groundhog's Day with like time jumping and murder.
So they kind of like started going on this storyline that you have like something like fucked up going on and you're like avoiding it, and if you like accept it, like you can like move, but you accept it by touching the rock. I don't know, the stupid rock.
I think that was just like gospel shit to try and get you to touch the rock.
Maybe. Well, what's his face shows up, Travis. Travis and Becky then thusly like talk about it, and he actually gets excited about having the baby because he was scared at first, so that's why he left. And Cal has a unhealthy obsession with his sister, which leads him to kill Travis because he now sees that Travis is gonna be in her life again, and she's gonna have a happy little family, probably.
Yeah, Travis is actually like, we're led to believe that Travis is like this huge douchebag who wanted nothing to do with the baby, which like initially he didn't, and he told her to have an abortion and all that. But then he kind of like comes to his senses, so to speak, and like actually steps up. I think out of all the characters, he's the only one that has character development.
Yeah.
Which is weird because he's like, not the main character.
And to like have a heart, like he really like cared about Toby. Like he randomly met this kid, and like his concern was making sure this kid was okay. He ends up once Becky died, everybody fucking died at this point. I don't know. Becky shoves shit into Ross's eye because he's strangling her. And then he also makes very rapey comments. Very 0 to 100. Like, that shit was like, at first, I was like, this is bad. And then it went to 100 real quick in 2 words. It's like, okay.
I feel like there's probably like an actual rape scene in the book. Like, probably. That feels like some dumb shit that Stephen King would write about. I mean, he wrote about 11-year-olds fucking in a sewer, so.
He was also on a lot of cocaine, and that book is 1,200 pages long, so.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think he even knows why he fucking put it there. Like, yeah, whatever.
Probably not.
And he was big enough to where people weren't like, well, people like his books, so this is a lot.
This is a doozy.
We'll just glass over that.
You just have to think about like what did they edit out, because I guaranteed that his books were probably double the length of what they came out with. There is probably a 2,400 page with some crazy nonsense bullshit where the editor was like, we straight up can't have this.
Yeah.
Like, for some reason they can have the weird orgy thing, but whatever the fuck you were coming up with here, no. I mean, he doesn't even remember making Cujo. Like, he's like, I don't know where the fuck this book came from, but
amazing.
And he wasn't even gonna release Pet Sematary. He just gave it to his he had a contract still with the book publisher, and he was like, needed one more book, and he just grabbed it from the drawer and was like, here. Do whatever you want with it. If it's good, great, whatever. And it's one of his best fucking books.
That's a good book.
He threw away Carrie, his first book. He threw it away because he was like, I don't think it's good enough. And his wife was like, she grabbed it from the trash can, like, no, this is going. So if it wasn't for her, we wouldn't have any Stephen King books. We wouldn't be here talking about Stephen King stuff.
Yeah.
So
I do like Stephen King.
And
but,
she writes books too, Tabitha King, but I haven't read anything from her. I don't know what kind of books.
To be honest, I didn't even know he was married.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. He has a son.
You can still have a son and not be married.
Not be married. Yeah.
Impossible. Give me the facts.
Not in this economy.
The rock says otherwise. That rock says otherwise. I like the image on the rock of the woman shooting out the baby from her crotch.
I mean, that's how a lot of like ancient depictions of like birth giving is, just like legs, baby.
I like that whole scene though with the earth like cracking open. I forget what the dead people on the walls reminded me of, but there is a scene like, oh, it reminds me of As We Fall from League of Legends. It's when they remade Varus, which is a champion in the League of Legends game. They came out with a video of his backstory, and when they fall into this like weird pit, the walls were people, and they were like trying to grab them and pull them into like inside the wall. That's what it made me think of.
Yeah.
But I thought it looked cool. I thought.
Yeah.
I actually.
I really like the visual effects in this movie.
Yeah.
Some of it was kind of bad, but I mean,
what are you gonna do? It's Netflix.
I also don't watch this movie on a 4K TV.
Something I learned.
Poopy little monitors.
If you use Chrome, it won't play it beyond 720p.
Oh.
Yeah. So what? I had because I was like, why does this look terrible on this TV? Like, this shouldn't look this bad. And then I pulled up, like, as I searched Netflix not playing in HD in Chrome, and they're like, yeah, for some reason it plays it in 720p for Netflix, so you have to use Edge. And so I used Edge browser, and yeah, it was in like fucking crystal clear. I was like, what the fuck? Why? Okay. HBO Max looks great in Chrome, but like this was like, no, it's not happening.
That's so weird. Netflix, fucking fix that shit. That's stupid. Anyway.
Yeah. It's been going on for years now, so I don't think they give a shit.
I know we were like talking about like 7 different movies, but at the same time, or not 7 different movies, we're talking about like so many different like shit, and it's because there was just like, it was interesting. It kept my interest. I like the idea of it. I don't know what to say about it.
Yeah, I was surprised that it got a 36% on Rotten Tomato.
Yeah, I don't think it was that bad.
Yeah, I don't think it was that bad either. I think it's like probably a 3-star movie for me, like a 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
I
could agree to that.
I think it's like a typical Stephen King movie. It definitely has his vibe of having like weird space entity, like shit that's really fucking old that we don't understand. Like that kind of vibe to it, because I know that he does have a universe in his stories that does have to deal with like shit just being around for a really fucking long time that we don't understand, and like everything's connected kind of thing. So this is just, another entity that's been here for a really long time that all of these hundreds of people have come in contact with, that kind of keep showing up. Like, we get little hints of that throughout. And it's not like super explained. It looks like there was maybe like an ancient civilization, like indigenous people who had found it, that got trapped in there as well and kind of kept showing up, and maybe carved some like spooky shit into the stone.
So this is
it was weird.
Like the stone ordeal again, where they said like once you touch the stone you can't leave. They made that very apparent. Like they said that so many times. Toby touched the stone.
So the first Toby that we encounter touched the stone.
Yeah.
But we have a second Toby.
Because we're on multiple timelines, but
Yeah.
at the same time, then it made me think of when Travis. By the way, I knew Travis was going to do that. Again, this is why I like the character Travis.
Mhm.
He gave up after watching Becky died, and he just killed Ross, which is good, and that made me happy. He touches the rock. The kid didn't want him to, but he touched the rock because they said you know how to get out if you just touch
but
the rock.
you know how to get out, but you don't want to.
You can't leave or whatever. I think he just can't leave. But he did that so then he could get the kid out. And then he also was just like, tell them not to come in, because I guess at that
stop
point,
them from coming in.
Travis figured out there was some kind of multiverse going on. But then it made me think, also that Travis died, but then made me think, is Travis alive?
I think so.
Because Becky and Cal.
Yeah, because it's before that moment in time when, because the entire reason he comes out there is because they've been missing for 2 months. So if they don't go missing for 2 months, he doesn't come out there.
I hope he steps up while they're there. I also hope that Toby tells Becky that Cal killed Travis and did some creepy ass shit with you.
Yeah, I'll explain on the way.
Yeah, I'll explain on the way. Like,
also, maybe don't trust your brother super much. Like, he's not a super great guy.
Like, there's a point of where your brother is productive and your brother's borderline Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hear the Skinner playing when he comes up.
Yeah. He like I do think like when Ross is going like full take the stone kind of shit, I do like him as a villain. I like his villainness.
His performance was great.
Because he's
like, it's really good.
He wasn't entirely like, he was like the villain, but he wasn't evil. Like, his intentions wasn't to kill everybody. His intentions was to get everybody to touch the rock, and because they wouldn't, he killed them.
I mean, but he's like a perfect salesman for it, right? I mean, he works in real estate?
Yeah, the Rock picked the best person to try to sell.
Yeah. Like,
the Rock actually knows how to like advertise himself.
And that's the other thing. Like, it first picks, Toby. Toby's the first one who touched it, which I don't think we actually know what happened to the original Toby. I'm assuming he got killed by Ross at some point.
I think that is said at some point. In the beginning too, we also have Toby's calling out to get Becky and Cal into the
forest, into the woods. Yeah,
you hear Natalie.
It's not even woods; it's just grass.
Grass. You hear Natalie scream out, "Don't do that, Toby! Don't tell them to come in here." And they do anyways. You think they would take these warnings of like, I just heard somebody say something. Let me walk into tall grass where I literally can't see shit.
Yeah.
And just be fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we never do get a timeline on how long Toby's family has been in there.
Yeah,
we don't get a I thought she was gonna, she ended up giving birth, but I thought she was gonna be in there so long that she like came to full term. I knew for a fact, I was saying right before it happened, like all this stress, like in real life, this amount of stress, she would have went into pre-labor. Like, this amount of stress, and then next scene she like goes into labor. So.
Yeah.
I like the bowling alley. I don't know the point of the bowling alley.
I know. I was like, why is there a bowling alley here?
Honestly, it made me think of Stranger Things.
Yeah, a little bit. Everything's, fucked up. June just texted me because June watched it as well, and apparently the book is much different.
I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah, I'm not
because
shocked.
The Shining's like that too.
Yeah,
it's same Same with Pet Sematary.
Says based off a book.
Yeah.
It's really just, well, these are the same. It's got
these are the same characters, but
and they're in a forest or they're in a field, and that's about it.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's all you're getting.
I do want to read that novella though.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna put it on my audio, my audiobooks to read. Jesus fuck.
We're all losing our minds here. Don't worry.
It's fine.
Yeah, my brain can't even think because going to Boston Comic-Con.
Don't tell people where we're at. Actually, by the time this goes up, we're gonna be done with it. So
yeah,
whatever.
We're recording this episode early because we're going to Boston Comic-Con.
Yay!
Woo! So, why not just confuse ourselves into time paradoxes? And
exactly.
Watch this movie?
Justin from the future.
Time
Justin, don't go to the convention. Don't go.
Yeah. Call each other from the future because they were calling. Becky was calling herself and talking to herself to like not do shit.
If we had the production for that, I would have definitely had like a skit where we could have just done like a "Don't go." Who is this? And it just breaks up. But,
I could do that,
but I'm not going to.
But I'm not going to do it for this episode because I have too much shit to get done.
It's fine. Anyway, what is our overall...
Watch it.
Yeah I say watch it. Like,
watch it.
I enjoyed it.
It is not often when we say to watch a movie.
I don't think it's like groundbreaking or anything, but I think it's worth watching.
It's not often that all three of us agree on watching a movie.
Yeah.
Usually it's like one out of like...
I was sitting there waiting for it to get terrible, and I'm like, this isn't bad. Like, then again, my standards for things that are really bad now are like just like, oh my god, I'm so glad I'm not watching this where it's boring. At least this was entertaining. Like, it wasn't perfect, but
it wasn't. It holds your attention. Like,
our podcast is good for something. We go now watch more movies.
But
no, I think it was worth a watch. Like, it kept me entertained. It didn't feel like it was dragged like at all. There is like parts of stuff that I was thinking of other movies, like if you guys ever, I think I've got you guys to watch Dead Birds, but they have a field thing going on in that one.
Never seen it.
I
haven't watched it yet.
I'll have to get you to watch it. Pretty much the base of it is they end up in a spooky house, and they go to leave, but the cornfield is now wrapped around the house, and they can't leave the house and stuff. It's interesting. Highly watch that too. It's kind of bad, but it's like a good bad.
That's fair.
But yeah, I actually suggest watching this movie, and also listen to Epic Rap Battles, Stephen King versus Edgar Allan Poe. That is a good rap.
Gotta talk about time travel.
Also, follow us on all of the things. We have a Patreon. Okay, get the fuck out.
Okay, sure.
We have a lot more things than that. Oh, jeez. Justin, do your spiel.
Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok. Sub on Patreon. The first person to sub will be the first person. I don't know. I will be shocked if anyone ever goes over to it, because I don't know if anyone's even out there. You can pay whatever you want and tell us we suck, or you can recommend stuff to us that way too. Like, that's totally fine. But yeah, I second Cass. We should just fuck off and just get out. Bye.
Yeah, I agree.
I cut my recording at mine.